Hi everyone, welcome to the SCWIST Brown Bag. I'm Christine Carino, Director for Events, Membership and Affiliates. So we are recording the session. If you don't want to be part of the recording, please turn off your video. I would like to acknowledge that SCWIST does its work for Canadians from the traditional, ancestral, and ceded territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. And for first-time guests, SCWIST is a Society for Canadian Women in Science and Technology, a nonprofit founded in 1981 working towards lowering barriers to the entry and retention of women in STEM fields. We're celebrating our 40th year next year, so come and join us for volunteer and professional development opportunities, including the chance to be a brown bag speaker. Today, our speaker is Dr. Chen Wan, Sector Manager, Health at Genome BC. In addition to developing opportunities for Genome BC and Genome Canada funding programs and managing funded projects, Dr. Wan also leads a diverse portfolio of strategic initiatives such as his healthcare professional education in genomics. Chen holds a PhD in biophysics from University of Virginia, USA, and had her postdoctoral training on liposomal nanoparticle drug delivery system for both small molecule and genetic drugs at University of British Columbia. Let's welcome Dr. Chen Wan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Christine for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk about the genomics education for healthcare professionals, something we have been working on for quite some time and we have been really passionate about. And I hope you will find it exciting and interesting as well. I also want to thank that Christine being so accommodating for my schedule. So usually the talk starts at noon. I need 15 minutes, extra 15 minutes was because I actually just came out from a company internal workshop, talk about trust. So in light of that, I also would like to contribute to this occasion to build a trust environment here. By doing that, I really would like to encourage you to bring your curiosity and to ask the questions. And I would also doing that by demonstrating, saying, I probably don't have all the answers to your questions. So I will be, I might say, I don't know sometime. Okay. So for today's talk, I will give you a brief view about Genome BC first. And then I will talk about why this is an important topic to discuss, what has been done by us, and the ongoing work. At the end, I will spend a bit time talking about myself, how I came to Canada, and then Genome BC, as I know that many of you are probably also interested in some career stories. Okay, who we are. Genome BC is a not-for-profit research organization located in Vancouver, Canada's west coast. Obviously, we have been working within BC's life sciences ecosystem for the past 20 years, as you can tell from the logo. We have a vision that genomics positively impacts life every day. And our mission is to apply the power of genomics to pressing societal and economic challenges. We view ourselves as a catalyst for innovative solutions through the science of genomics. And of course, note that the definition of genomics is a broader one, which encompasses the genomics, proteomics, transcriptomics, metabolomics, etc. So basically, the omics technology that sometimes even beyond for some of our programs. So by far, we have lived through 4 or 5 years strategic plans and currently in our 5th one. These pie charts really show you how our portfolio has been changing over the time, and how we have been crafting a pipeline for practical applications. Genome BC really started as a small, humble, but ambitious organization, and it was like only startup in the early days. we were up to intense work to articulate the value, obtain sufficient funding, attract leading talent, and implement effective management systems. The different colors on the pie representing discovery, applied, translational, and innovation research, respectively. Our investment has been shifting from heavy on discovery research all the way to building a balanced portfolio to the current plan where we just launched that we are having a dedicated resources to innovation. Now, 20 years later, we have established ourselves as an anchor in BC's life sciences community as we continue to move this transformational science forward. Through this journey, we have consistently remained to what's the most important, which is to really facilitate genomic solutions to pressing social and economic challenges for British Columbians and Canadians. The next couple slides will show you some numbers on our portfolio. This one focuses on the socio-economic impact, and you can see some of the metrics we have been collecting, such as jobs created, patent filed, company advanced, partnerships being created, and co-investment being attracted. So these numbers show you the breakdowns on the projects and fundings by sectors. Cumulatively, we are managing a portfolio of over 1 billion in more than 425 genomics research projects, including science and technology platforms. We are helped to create jobs in Canada while addressing challenges in key sectors such as health, forestry, fisheries and agriculture, agri-food, energy, mining, and the environment. Being cross-sectoral has been one of our advantages, and it also shows that genomics technologies are truly impact all these economically important sectors to BC, and of course to various degrees. Another unique thing about us is that we are funding genomics research and innovation not as a granting council or as a venture capital investment firm, but rather by awarding research and development contracts in between these two investment models. This has been done strategically. Those investments are repositioned to provide a bridge between the world of academia, where the knowledge is discovered and the potential applications are identified, with the sectors where those genomics applications can solve challenges. As you may have already noticed, among all these sectors, the health sector is the biggest one, with over half of the investment. This is consistent with the development of genomics technology and where it has the biggest impact. This will also be our focus today. Okay, so I believe precision health is not unfamiliar to most of us today. If you look at healthcare, it has offered some of the greatest leaps in scientific innovation, from vaccines to antibiotics and antivirals to life-saving surgical advancement in organ transplantation and cardiac care. Each of those innovations has had a profound impact on health outcomes and the standard of patient care. With the most recent examples of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Canadian government has invested 40 million in the CanCoGene, the Canadian COVID Genomics Network. The CanCoGen aims to build a coordinated pan-Canadian cross-agency network for large-scale SARS-CoV-2 and human host sequencing. It will provide critical information for tracking viral origin, spread, and evolution, characterizing the role of human genetics in COVID-19 disease, and informing public health agencies and health authorities to make the time-sensitive decisions across Canada during the pandemic. The network will also further contribute to building the national capacity to address future outbreaks and pandemics. Innovation delivered through genomics technology in healthcare over the past 20 years have not only improved the health outcomes, but have also revolutionized the way we think about and deliver patient care. So providing you some ideas without running into any details, I wanted to show you those large-scale precision health projects we've funded with our funding partners. While you may find some familiar names on those photos, precision healthcare considers not only our genetic profile, but also the environment we live in. Our familial history, our lifestyle choices, all of which will contribute to our health and well-being. Genomics allows us to understand why some people are more susceptible to certain illness while others not. It helps us understand why some patients respond well to medications and why some experience devastating side effects. The genetic differences between individuals is an important consideration when certain therapies may be introduced, while other health implications are involved, or have extreme cost associated with little or no benefit to the patients. As genomics applications have moved from lab bench to bedside, patient health outcomes have been positively impacted through improved diagnosis, disease management, and prognosis for people affected by cancer, heart disease, epilepsy, rare diseases, and other debilitating conditions. These projects show you the broadness of the impact that genomics can make to our healthcare system. However, through our ongoing dialogue with partners and stakeholders, specific themes have been identified that limit the broader adoption of genomics into routine clinical care. Genomics education for healthcare professionals being one of them, and the needs for doctors and medical professionals to gain an understanding of advances in genomics technology and the genome research has been widely recognized. This is by no means easy for many of them. While they may have a basic understanding of genomics and medicine from where they were studying in a medical school, for many, that was a long time ago, and the subject and discipline has evolved considerably since then. We will need more genetic counselors and physicians, as well as other healthcare professions who understand the value of genomics to make genomics medicine interpretable, accessible, and applicable, which will lead to an increase in adoption and effectiveness of genetic genomic testing, and eventually promote the patient-centric care where the research results will be rapidly applied and the equitable access for everybody can be realized. This diagram illustrates a patient journey from being prescribed with a genetic genomic testing to test being conducted in a clinical laboratory to data analysis in bioinformatics pipelines, to result interpretation, all the way to the delivery of the reports to patients and their care providers. In an ideal world, all the new graduating doctors, nurses, midwives, pharmacists, allied health professionals, dental and relevant non-clinical staff should have a level of awareness and knowledge of genomics that is relevant to their role. The healthcare science workforce should continue to have advanced genomic training and education within their programs. Continuing professional development programs should be put in place to ensure all relevant staff maintain an up-to-date and role-appropriate understanding of genomics. So essentially, all the care providers that on this journey are being equipped with appropriate and up-to-date knowledge and skills to support their services. This is the ideal situation and really the goal that many countries and initiatives are tackling with various different strategies. Here are some examples, both nationally and internationally, of genomics education effort. So internationally, I would like to highlight Genomics England, who is leading the field with dedicated national body, Health Education England, and an incomparable budget. In the US, down in California, Rady Children's Hospital and Rady Children's Institute for Genomics Medicine is leading the rapid whole genome sequencing in neonatal and pediatric care unit, intensive care unit, from all aspects. They have been pioneers in educating the care teams in NICU and PICU of the hospitals, primarily in the US. They're working with Illumina and play the key role behind the legislation of whole genome sequencing for critically ill babies. Nationally, we have GECO, Genetics Education Network, Knowledge Organization, 100% volunteer-run, not-for-profit. There are commercial entities with education interest and contributed in generating content such as Genexus, MyDNA, Labs. Of course, we also have various medical schools across the country do have the mandate, and there are two opportunities if a proper pathway can be identified, and it will be ideal to engage the future workforce from the get-go. So what can Genome BC do to help, and how? In our role as a convener, Genome BC brought together stakeholders across various disciplines to discuss how genomics education could be improved for healthcare professionals. And the first step, we identified a need to conduct an environmental scan on the available education resources in BC. So we took an iterative, qualitative approach to develop the asset map of current regional and Canadian-based clinical genomics education resources for professionals engaged in diagnosis, prognosis, treatment, and communication with individual patients. First, we generated a list of the initial key informants in organizations known by us who are involved in the delivery of clinical genomics education and training for healthcare professionals in BC. Interviews with those key informants led to the identification of educational and training resources. Additional key informants and other organizations sought to be engaged in genomics education and training for healthcare professionals. Ultimately, 20 K-informant interviews were completed, and all potential BC and Canadian resources mentioned by K-informants were investigated for relevance. So if you are curious, those were the people being interviewed during this process. Organizations included the ones with education mandate, the genetic services providers, some others such as BC Pharmacy Association, and a couple commercial entities. So what is in the asset map, and what did we find? The asset map listed and described the available resources and high level from non-genomic to genomic specialists, from medical school to continuing professional education, from physicians to pharmacists to nurses. It also includes some materials from some commercial entities, as mentioned before, who contributed a large portion of content in certain areas, especially pharmacogenomics and non-invasive prenatal testing. We found that for BC's genetic specialists, it seems their training through traditional academic routes regarded as adequate. However, the resources for non-genomic specialists, the basic fluency in genomics, particularly in primary care providers, appears to be very limited. In addition, the materials is highly specialized and no central repository or system for curation. So the real takeaway is that the asset map revealed the current BC healthcare professional clinical genomics education and training landscape is fragmented. And there are two opportunities to address the gaps through existing resources, infrastructure, and engaging with the key stakeholders. This led to the second phase of this journey, where we will be developing a framework for new genomics education opportunities for BC healthcare professionals to optimize genomics access for all patients in BC. So this is a very ongoing work, so please stay tuned. I would like to highlight that we are at the beginning of the journey. For education, there's no magic pill. Although we can largely benefit from other people's experience in other jurisdictions, as the challenges around medical education are largely common, such as the rapid changing technologies, the lack of regulatory and guidelines development, competing priorities for healthcare professionals, etc. The regional context plays a key role in delivery and rollout of the education programs. In most of the cases, people are indeed building the plane as you fly. Therefore, a lot of patience is needed, and we have to do everything strategically. I also included some relevant resources. Most of them can be found in our website. And the last one is a publication from a UK government. As I mentioned before, the UK government is really leading the genome medicine. And they just published this document called Genome UK, the future of healthcare, where they really talk about the diagnosis, talk about prevention, talk about research. It's a very comprehensive document if you are interested in the genome medicine backed up healthcare in the future. It's good read. I think that's all about this topic. Kirsty, you want me to stop here to allow people ask some questions, or
I think let's go on.
I'm sorry?
Let's go on and just have the questions at the end of the your full presentation.
Sure. So I will talk about myself a little bit then. So as Kirsten mentioned, I was actually born in China. I had my education all the way up to university. So I got my bachelor degree in biology in China from University of Science and Technology of China. And then after that, I applied abroad for my graduate study. So I went to University of Virginia, which is on the east coast of US, to study biophysics, where I really actually studied it's a very fundamental research. I studied the lipid bilayers. After that, I just came to Vancouver due to family reasons to continue my postdoc training and UBC, where I really studied lipid nanoparticles for the delivery of small molecule and genetic drugs. After that, I joined Genome BC. And almost 6 years ago, I started first as a research program manager, primarily focused on the project management of the funded projects. And after 2 years, our group had a major reorganization. So my job function has been largely expanded to the sector development work, and that really opens a lot of opportunities for me. And I start to take on the proposal development into various different Genome BC and the Genome Canada programs, and also start to work on some strategic initiatives like what I'm talking about today. And internally, I also take on a role. We do have several internal committees. I also took on the role as one of the committee chair, and it has been a fun journey by far. I think I only have one slide to show you. I also would like to take an opportunity to mention one of our signature events. Rick's distinguished keynote. If you haven't registered, which is gonna happen next week. If you haven't registered, please do so. It's gonna be a very interesting conversation. And also we're gonna have the maybe a quite different networking kind of opportunities, as we're gonna adopt a platform called SWIST, where will allow you to book one-on-one networking opportunities with people participating. So I'm going to stop here, and here's my contact information. And allow people to ask the questions.
Yeah, so we're a small group. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, or if you're shy, you can just type it in the chat and I can read it out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chen. Actually, could you go to the slide for the Genome BC event?
Sure.
Yeah. So this is just an amazing event. We many SCWIST members look forward to attending this every year. I'm curious how this this will turn out this year with everything going online. So I encourage everyone sign up for this. This is an amazing.
Yeah, actually, the networking platform I mentioned is also our first time to try. So, but we are actually quite keen to see how it works. Yeah. And considering whether or not to adopt it for our other kind of corporate networking event. Yeah. Because I think fall is really was really the time for connections, and unfortunately we couldn't do it this year as we usually did. And we have to be innovative to bring the people the experience as much as possible. Yeah, the banquet is such a highlight too for some, right? We're able to really talk to each other. So any questions? We're ready.
Hi, Christine.
Yes, Priya.
Hi, Chen. Thank you for the presentation. I have seen the Genome Education BC, the volunteer opportunities and roles. Would you be able to, give a brief about uh, what uh, what is the role of volunteers and how do they contribute to the program?
Oh, you probably talk about actually a different program called Gene School.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another actually is managed by not by my department, by a different department in the
Okay.
company. It's managed by our communications department. But that program has already been kind of developed for quite a few years, and we're really kind of establishing in that area. So that program is primarily to high school students.
Mm-hmm.
And what that program does is really develop all those content, and we have several different roles. We really deliver, like, let's say, for example, the classroom suitcase, where it has all the contents for genomics education. We kind of deliver it to various different classrooms, and to basically help the teacher, to enable the teacher to incorporate the genomics content into their curriculum. So that has been a really, really well received, popular program. And then we also organize the camps for the high schoolers. The camps has always been very popular as well. In terms of what the volunteers does for that program, let me tell you, it's actually it's lots of activities, and we actually only have 2 managers managing that program, and a lot of activities has been done by the volunteers. So the volunteer could be the ones actually to go into the classroom to assist the teacher. The volunteers are helped to run the camps, and I know they also organized an online virtual event for the BC's teachers, a workshop. I don't recall how long, but it's like 2 days, 2 to 5 days kind of workshop. I think that one was largely organized by the volunteers as well. And the current director for that program is someone who actually started from volunteering for those programs.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're interested, I'm more than happy to put in touch with the manager who is managing this program. I believe he can definitely give you way more information than I can do.
Thank you so much, Chen. I will get in touch with you then. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Please feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Hello, Christine. Hello, Chen. Do you remember?
Hi.
Yeah. Do you remember me, Christine?
I do, of course. We met at UBC. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you again.
Thank you for this event. It was very amusing that I know Chen now. And what do you prefer, Van or Chen? I think Van is better. Yeah. To call you Van.
Oh, you mean my last name?
Chen is I wonder.
Yeah, Chen is my first name. I know people sometimes got confused because in Chinese names, I mean, there's actually often seen as the last name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. So my case, it was my first name, and it's actually different Chinese characters when it's in first name and in last name.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Actually, I came to Vancouver 3 years ago. I'm master in German. But actually, I have graduated around 20 years ago. So there is a very long gap between my education, work experience, and now what I am in Vancouver. Actually, during these 3 years, I couldn't join any specific program because of different issues. And the main issue was that my job experience was not such elaborated. But actually, I'm very interested to genomics. And even I passed some courses in India online to learn how to use pipelines and how to do some analysis in NGS and whole genome analysis. And I really interested to join any program as a volunteer or job. in the genomics, especially in genomics, are really interested too. And by the way, it's interesting to talk about high school student. I have a daughter. She is graduated to this year. It's grade 12 now, and she is interested in biology and genomics also. So I'm really glad to meet you today. And I know I wish to have your guidance to which path I have to follow to reach to that is a goal.
Yeah, so just to make sure I understand correctly, so you're basically saying both you and your daughter are interested in were like in kind of in genomics field in general, and yourself, you're looking to join a program that you can actually do the actual work. So can I ask you what kind of program you're looking for? Or like what kind of say work you're interested in? It's like a research or management or
no, research in genomics. Actually, I'm in the finding SNPs in different mutations, and especially human genomics. And for the SNP diagnosis in different hereditary diseases. And, yeah, and the other field that I'm really interested in is precision medicine and the different cancers and the mutations and the drug development. Yeah, this is, and by the way, I have a wage subsidy now. I am in a program that provide 50% of my wage from the immigration center for up to 3 months. Also,
I think
I can send the confirmation to you as the letter of confirmation of this wage subsidy also.
Yeah, I think that's actually bringing an advantage. It's definitely an advantage for you. I think like the best thing, you probably already done this, is really to understand what is your subject of expertise areas in particular. So to be honest, as you can see from my education background, I mean myself, I was not the I don't really view myself as experts in kind of genomics genetics analysis because my PhD training was actually in biophysics. So myself, I don't have that really hands-on research experiences. But of course, I do have the very comprehensive education on genomics genetics. But in terms of research experience, actually, I did not do the genomics genetics research by myself, especially in Canada, in BC, right? So I think first thing, because you're in Vancouver, and you, first of all, you have to know your strengths, and secondly, you have to know a bit more about the local environment, like because all those like information is actually quite open on those universities' website. You probably have to identify a couple like PIs, like the professors, like what they do exactly, and maybe trying to make some connection to people who is working in those labs and to understand whether or not they have the need, whether or not you can fit to this need. So I think networking is really important.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Do you know anybody that works in this field that you can recommend me to him or her that help me
to look into like a little bit more information? Yeah, actually we are working with we are really working with the research communities in BC, and like basically all of our kind of projects has either have mainly focusing on the genomics or like focusing on the life sciences. So like a really good resources that actually you can refer to is to our website. So we have a website where we actually have all the project informations, all the funded project informations, and what they are about, what they like for the ongoing project. We're gonna have a summary about what they are going to do, and for the closed project, we have a summary of what they have achieved. So I think that's a pretty good starting place.
Yeah, thank you. So you are talking about 20 years Genome BC, Genome British Columbia website?
Yeah, so we were founded 20 years ago, and this year is our 20th anniversary.
Is that any specific website that you can introduce me? It's 20 years Genome British Columbia or other website?
Oh, our own website. You can just search Genome BC, and then it will direct you to our website.
Oh, Genome BC, yeah. Oh, okay. And about the program that you told about is for high school student. Where is that? Where I can find the information about
It's also on our website. If you go to education, and you can find all the information about it. It's called Gene School, GENESKOOL.
Oh, Gene School. Okay. Oh. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you
so,
very much.
Nafisa, if you look at the chat box, Brianna actually placed the link to the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Brianna.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you. I will unmute myself to continue.
So, any other question?
Yeah. Okay, I have a question.
Yes, Nasira.
Thank you very much, Chen.
No problem.
Yeah, I joined this conversation just for general knowledge and information and awareness. So thank you so much. And so my question is just like general, that at Genome BC, are you guys doing any project regarding COVID-19 testing or diagnostics?
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually, right after the pandemic in March, we launched a program called Rapid Responding Funding, where we designated to COVID-19 projects.
Okay.
And we do have a list of COVID projects being funded under that program. And I believe you should be able to find those information on our website as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will see that. And another question. I have heard a thing like customized medication. So I guess it means that like some patients, they are doing a bunch of medications, like 4, 5, or up to 10. And the customized medication is that they will get a pill which has all of those medication in one pill. So, so are you guys doing something on those lines or no?
Yeah, to be honest, this is the first time I heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe we have a project on that front, but it sounds interesting. At least you don't have to take like so many pills, right? You can just take one pill every day. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Last chance to ask one last question, and then we end the session.
I guess my presentation was crystal clear.
Yes. I actually like the way that Genome BC approached the resource mapping and cutting, segmenting the whole process into phase 1 and phase 2. And having this, the qualitative aspect of it, tapping the expertise of a variety of health professionals. And I actually saw a few of the people there whom I knew are also doing great work, especially in the education space. Yeah, so thank you so much, Chen. And
thank you, Chen, for sharing your career path.
Oh, thanks to all of you for joining the session and listening. And maybe like one last thing I would say is that I really encourage you, if you have any ideas, if you know anybody who is also passionate and interested in this area, please feel free to really reach out and to make connections. Like by making connections, we are together. Like we are stronger.
Great. Thank you, Chen. And thanks everyone for coming, and see you next week. There's another brown bag. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.